All right, well, I head back to my place, and I'm gonna suggest we start doing some serious digging. Let's pop in that ship on the way and kind of see what we're up against here. We got 72 hours, so.
Okay, you pop the chip in. Do you just pop it into the van slot or your comlink slot, or?
Yeah, I pop it into the comlink that she gave us.
Okay. And
then
you
I
hook
share
that
it
up
with
to your eyes
everybody.
as well to be able to get the display going. Do you hook up to your pan?
No. I've got a sneaking suspicion that the comlink is actually what they're testing right now.
Sure. Okay, so you just have the comlink as like the tiny little device, and you plug the optical chip in. And as soon as you plug the optical chip in, it goes, "Start program." Yes, please confirm.
Yes.
Program started. Hello, and welcome to the NeoNet Virtual Interactive Helper Association. This program is designed to help you with the current file structure in the attached documents. Please ask your query. Or turn off and be able to browse files at your leisure.
Browse files.
Shutting down. Okay, so you can browse the files normally in that directory.
Okay. And so I'm gonna take my time. Well, I can't take my time. We're on 3 days here. Either way, let's look for the pertinent information on the job for right now.
Okay.
Like the specifics.
So the pertinent information on the job is that you're currently looking for a scientist. The scientist has an employment history with NeoNet, and then switched about 3 months ago. Actually, no, it would be more like 7 months ago. 7 months ago to Seda Krupp, working on some sort of ocean-based magical tech research, which is sort of a fusion between being able to run small technology applications on microorganisms and semi-microorganisms. I don't know what the term is for like something between micro and macro, but basically being able to fuse magic and technology at a very small scale. Now, Seda Krupp have them, and they're currently working on a research vessel, and NeoNet kind of want them back. They're not really hiding the fact in these documents that you quite quickly deduce that it is NeoNet wanting them back. Whether that's a false flag operation is up to you. So it's someone just going, oh yeah, NeoNet, it's totally them, it's not NeoNet. But either way, a lot of these files are quite obviously NeoNet internal files, and a lot of them regard the fact that NeoNet's research project is actually falling behind without that scientist. Beyond that, the boat is called the Golden Talon. It's a research vessel that's been in use for about 30 years. It is more updated these days. It currently houses 6 scientists, along with a crew of, I believe, 5 beds. That is beds, though, so it can house more staff. It does house up to 9 on a rotating shift schedule, depending on its mission, its operation, etc.
So it's a small ship.
It's a relatively
We have
small
a
ship.
foot.
Yeah.
What is the footage or meter measurement on it?
See, the file would actually say, I'm going to pull up the stats I have on it and try and give you an estimate, because I do actually have stats on it. But I
Yeah,
can't
sorry,
show you
my
this.
significant other families, my significant other hero family are boat people. So now I'm curious.
Boat people.
Yeah, boat people.
So
Oh,
like
good.
boats with people faces or people with boat faces?
People who really, really like boats.
They get a +5 on any swimming tests.
Yeah, they are quite buoyant.
And there's a fetish for everything.
They got webbed fingers and shit.
The boat is at the waterline, about 31 meters.
Okay.
It's a catamaran with a rear A-frame for a small submersible, or alternatively a small speedboat to be housed. 2 rear, I can't remember what they're called, the little steps that kind of lead down to the ocean so that you can have scuba divers go out and stuff.
A moon pool or whatever.
Yeah. At the front, it's got a kind of net structure between 2 of its hulls, and it's got a top deck with a very prominent comm relay. Of course, because they're so far out of water, they won't be able to get access to the normal matrix infrastructure, so they have to use a comm relay, ideally very long wavelengths, which unfortunately don't carry as much data, or satellite relay, in which case they bounce off satellites.
What is the total number of crew on the ship? So let's not take into account shifts or anything like that, but just total people on the ship for this mission.
Total
Is that
max number of
information
crew?
there?
Max number of crew is 15. suspected number of people for this shift is 6 scientists, 1 captain, 4 hours, 2 dedicated security personnel. These are listed as dedicated full-time security in the dossier. Then it has, let me see, 2 more beds and 2 on rotating shifts. So it's then got 4 more crew, all of whom are trained in some form of small arms and ship defense, but they are mainly there to service the boat.
Krav Maga! Alright. And so you said there was a speedboat that was attached to the main catamaran?
And depending on its mission profile, it can take either a small speedboat at the rear or a small submersible, depending on what it's out for at the time. Its current mission profile is not in the documents. It doesn't seem to be listed. And it doesn't actually include what its current rear vessel attachment is, if it has any. Fortunately, that
Do we have any information on its port of origin and its port of destination?
Its port of origin would be on the German coast. I can't remember the name for the life of me. I looked up earlier. There is a big naval port on the German coast. I just can't remember the name of. But yeah, it's German coast because, of course, Cederkrupp own most of the German coast. It becomes quite obvious that Cederkrupp are the second largest Meg Corp, and they are somewhat pissed about it, for those of you know anything about the current state of the Meg Corporations. Having recently been knocked down from number 1.
And number 1 is Renraku, correct?
No, number 1 is MCT.
Oh, really? Okay, so I didn't know Matsuhama was that big at this point.
Yeah, they're very silent for how big they are.
Okay. Well, at least we're not running against them.
7-5, somewhere around there.
But then again, Renraku's the most vicious, next to, like, As Technology, though, so they make up for it.
Yeah,
they're kind of nasty. They're eviler.
Like, they've got a reputation for keeping under, like, you know, low down. Mitsuhama have a zero-zone policy, though, which is, if you go beyond this point, you die. So don't run against us. They're the only corporation to have a zero-zone policy, which is very important for Shadowrunners. They don't take prisoners. Yeah,
they don't take prisoners. Although that's better than running against like As Technology, where you don't want to be a prisoner. You hope they kill you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this
hey,
is
that's just all like bad propaganda put around by Amazonia. You know, it's all false. It's just a spin.
Are we back at the house yet?
Yeah, you get back to the house.
We're browsing, right? Okay. So now that we're at the house, well, I don't know. You guys got any suggestions what we should do with this information now that we've all perused it a little bit? Security staff seems really, really light. My suggestion is that we get a throwaway boat that I can rig, and I can remote control it with a small gun that we affix to it to fire at the thing. Maybe that draws the security team off the boat from whatever resource they have there. We land from the opposite side in a dinghy or in an inflatable, grab the guy and be the Drek up out of there before anything else happens while they're investigating the small boat attack off one side. This is, of course, assuming that they don't have any type of matrix support that can kick me out of the rigging interface or anything like that, since we're down a Technomancer at the moment.
Is it possible to do it quieter than that, though?
With the security on the boat, I mean, somebody's going to have to die. We're on this boat is tiny. Like, this is not a big ship. It's like maybe 100 foot under that. It's a small boat. And so there's no way we're getting onto this boat without somebody seeing us and alerting security. That means security either needs to go somewhere else, and based on the schematics, it looks like they have an excursion boat attached to the main catamaran, which means that they're set up to engage offensively and sally out if they need to. I think our best option is to get security off the boat and then just be as fast as possible with the scientist. We don't know what their scanning suite is looking like either from this dish array. Can I make a hardware check to identify the dish array that they got on the top and get general information about it?
Okay, so you dig deeper into the information you have, and you find that there is, in fact, luckily for you, included in this archive, a full schematic of the boat, including quite some detailed technical descriptions. Now, a lot of this would be indecipherable to someone without knowledge of nautical mechanics.
That's
thankfully.
Me.
How much do you have in that? Like 6?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I took the grouping.
Easy as pie. You just can see this boat entirely. I'm going to throw it up on screen for you.
Hey, boat.
And I will switch all the players to boat.
What for me?
There you go. So at the top you have the top deck. Then you have, I believe this is main deck and sort of the lower deck with some of the labs in the dining room and the sort of lounge library, or the library as I want to somewhat call it. And then you've got below deck, which is in the Catamaran hull itself.
It's a pretty tall boat.
Basically.
So are the two, I'm sorry, are the bottom two layers right there, are those the two pontoons on the catamaran?
Yep.
On opposing sides? Okay. I mean, the other option is we cause some sort of, I doubt this would work, because if this is a Satyr Crypt boat, this thing's going to be really well defended on a technical end. We attempt to hack the engines or bust the generators. But even then, we've got to get security to go down to the lower decks, and we got to keep them at the lower decks long enough with all of their sensor equipment bugged out to... I mean, I guess we could scuba in. It looks like they've got a moon pool. It's possible that we could scuba in from there after we do the... Instead of coming in on a dinghy, we have the boat run interference and make the security team leave, then we land in scuba gear to the moon pool.
I'm not happy with scubaing in. I'll stay on the boat.
Why is that?
No reason.
Does anyone want to roll me a intuition plus logic check?
Including Steejo or anybody not Steejo?
Anybody.
Okay. I'll roll one.
Yeah, I'll roll one.
Yeah, so you all realize that this is Arctic waters. Quite north in the Arctic, judging by its plan for its travel excursion. You wouldn't probably want to be in the water long. I'm just saying.
I'm sure we could get dry suits. I mean, that's how they normally do it.
Not for that long in this water. You'd manage it for a little while, but it would not be recommended. Not up here, not in this water. This is literally only a few kilometers off the coast of the ice.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to do it.
I mean, my swimming is not real strong anyway, so that's probably a last resort, as I assume there would be a number of swimming checks in there.
Now, of course, you can
just
buy
an idea,
some gear, special heated suits that will actually allow you to be in the water for a lot longer. But you won't survive in the water for more than, I don't know, half an hour would probably see you dead, for sure. 10 minutes might be risky. Shorter than that, you'd probably be able to make it, although you'd probably take some stun damage. Basically, it'd probably be a test with an interval of a minute for stun damage.
Alternatively, as another plan, we could just put a boat out there and then have it register a distress signal. We'd be on there and we would just play the part of somebody who's stranded, essentially. But we would have to come up with a cover story or something like that. And then we have to rely on the fact that Satyr Krupp will come get us and not some other ship. So it would require timing and placement, and the beacon would have to be essentially the perfect size to only reach out to them with the Mayday. I mean, there's a number of options here that we could spitball with, but they all have their own distinct risks and things that could go wrong.
How about punching a hole in the boat?
Like sinking it?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got explosives. We can blow a hole in the side if you want, and then pick them up like we're the Good Samaritans or something? Is that what you're saying? It's a little heavy-handed. Did she say anything about the way she wanted this? I'm sorry, but I zone out during these talks because I don't know what I'm doing. So you were the one listening. Did she say anything about how loud or how quiet they want this to go through?
You just wanted the guy. I mean, we don't need to blow a hole in the boat. We could cut a hole in the boat.
Are we sure? Like, how are they not going to identify the fact this is a pretty expensive ship for a good corporation? You'd think they would have some kind of sensor suite that's going to be like, anytime they see like hull tampering or any sort of matrix action or anything like that, you would assume there'd be something to protect. It sounds like the research they're doing on this thing is pretty important, and so my guess is that it's going to be really, really well defended. Not in terms of physical security, but in terms of actually, could I find that on the schematics? It will have security information on there and whatnot, won't it?
It does have some security information. Yeah. What are you looking for?
Can I parse that? I'm looking for any sort of sensor suite that would be running through for like hull damage, and then would try to ping external locations or external communications relays with like maydays or anything like that if the hull is being tampered with or if there's a collision.
So any alarms that go off, it does immediately sort of say this in sort of the basic, their modus operandi for remote vessels belonging to Seder Krupp is any immediate alarms that go off are both routed through to the duty officers on the ship and the second in command duty officer, just in case the duty officer is unavailable for whatever reason, and is also immediately sent back to base. Base can then do a checkup call, check if everything's okay, which will be in the normal procedure in that regard. Should the vessel not reply or the vessel's reply be incorrect, they will then send some sort of backup. Now, getting out to the very North Sea up here would be quite an endeavor. You could probably do it with a helicopter. You need extra fuel tanks, but they could do it. It would just take a few hours, but response would not be quick. In terms of sensors, there will be sensors such as deployable IR sensors and so on, but bear in mind that Matrix connectivity is limited, and actually detecting Matrix devices, if they are underwater, for instance, each meter of water adds 1 to noise rating. Water is actually very good at blocking out wireless signals. So if you do go for scuba route, which you can do if you get the correct equipment, just not basic scuba suits, you will need special heated ones. Every meter you go underwater will help deaden any IR signatures and also help deaden any wireless signatures. In fact, it's really good at deadening the wireless signatures. IR, a little bit harder, especially because you've got a very cold backdrop. You can get special thermal regulating suits, though, designed for that. But combining that with a heated suit is very difficult. Can be done, very difficult and very expensive, though.
So an idea comes to mind. It's kind of a combination of what we've already spitballed. What if we assemble a buoy and we figure out what the path is that the boat is going to take? We use said buoy to both broadcast a distress call, and then B, we put a jammer on it, a very, very powerful jammer that activates when the boat becomes inside a certain radius. That would keep ingoing and outgoing calls locked down. That would also draw them to the ambush point. From there, we come in on the submersible, and we could just whack whoever we wanted in that situation, because then they're jammed out and it doesn't really matter, and then we could just grab the guy we needed. It would also keep them from looking for us inside of our little dinghy or whatever. Obviously, when we contract to have this thing put together, I'll try and make it as immune to sensor suites as possible. But I think we're going to have to spend some serious money to get this done, but I like the buoy idea. It's kind of like a crybaby, basically, if you've ever seen Firefly.
It also has, of course, ultrasound. Not ultrasound, what's it called?
Sonar.
Checking for crybabies.
It has sonar, which it will have on, although it's designed more for picking up ships and sea life. It would work on you, but you'd have to deliberately piss the sonar off more than anything. So being quiet will probably be fine. Making sound, yeah, that would be bad, but obviously making sound, you're not going to do that until you go loud, probably. But just bear in mind that you will want to not do anything loud underwater. Also, on the decks themselves, they do have cameras and motion sensors.
That would also fall within the realm of that jammer. We need a powerful jammer. How are they? If they've got sonar and everything, they're gonna see us on the water. If it's a high level suite, I just kind of.
Most of the high-level stuff in terms of sonar, their research sonar, etc., is very much designed for picking up sea life and very microscopic changes in nearby organisms and so on. It's not particularly designed for picking up, say, a boat. That would just appear as noise to it. But the main sonar itself, yes. If you were going, say, with a very loud propeller. You can get certain ducted propellers to be particularly quiet and specially designed. You could also use oars if you were quiet and careful about it, depending on the choppiness of the seas. Of course, being in a choppy sea with a oared boat, while difficult, would actually be fairly quiet in terms of sonar, because it wouldn't be able to pick up the sound of the oar from the sound of the crashing of the sort of splashing on the top of the surface of the water anyway. In terms of everything else, yeah, you might need some specialist equipment depending on what you're doing. And remember, if you want to build something special, that will take intervals of hours. And you do, if you want to get the bonus, have only 3 days to get there and back. And bear in mind, the boat will take a while to get that.
If we're looking for 3 days, then we're going to have to buy everything we need. We're not going to be able to construct anything here.
Well, the buoy, we could buy that pretty easily, and then I could just make the modifications to it while you guys acquire all the other stuff. What I was thinking with the dinghy is that we get dropped by a helicopter in the dinghy before the contact point, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, and we just wait it out. Within, essentially, it'll be nighttime, so we'll be within eye shot of the buoy. We'll have the cover at night, though. We'll keep thermals on and whatever else. And we just wait it out for when they go to the buoy. We detonate the jammer. Then we go aboard, handle security in whatever way they can be handled, and then grab our guy and have the helicopter synced to come in right about that time. I mean, it's... How far at sea are we going to intercept this thing? Is that part of the information that they gave us?
So it's all the way pretty much near the coast of the Arctic, which has shrunk a little bit by this day. But you're talking quite a sizable distance, so you're going to be traveling several hundred miles. It is possible for a helicopter to do it, especially if you started at the very top of Scotland. However, the helicopter would need to be a particular type of helicopter with extra fuel tanks. The more common way to be able to do this would be to use a T-Bird or something similar, a VTOL aircraft. T-Birds in particular, a brand of VTOL aircraft, are used a lot by smugglers because they can fly low and they can put down anywhere. And luckily for you, T-Birds are VTOL and do happen to be used by people in dodgy lines of work near Shadowrunners. You would know that because you're engineering.
I mean, all this complicated planning aside, it sounds like if we've got 3 days, we only really have one option, and that's to go in hot and heavy in the T-Bird and get it done. If we had longer, like a week, we could set up a complex plan, and then that slowness would allow us to create an ambush that would work to our benefit. If we're going in 3 days, though, it sounds like we're going to have to go in real hot and heavy. Just, like, land on the deck hot and heavy and just snatch and grab.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of benefits. So 3 days, going to give us 70,000 new yen, as opposed to 40,000. And it's going to cost us less money in the long run if we're just going to go in and smash and grab the place.
Well, we're still going to have to shut down their comms somehow. I mean, that has to happen.
That's fine. We'll buy a high-level jammer, and we'll just have it on us so that it jams everything in like a globe radius around us.
Well, if the comm tower is on the roof, according to those schematics that you managed to fish up blowback, then surely that can be the first thing that we hit.
Yeah, VTOL comes in. We have your sniper rifle. We get a modified round that maybe has a jammer inside the gel. You fire it at the
I was thinking
tower.
Just blow it
Just
up.
destroy the damn thing. I mean, that'd work too.
I mean, I could get some explosive ammo as well. Like, I mean, we're going in hot and heavy.
We do have a
Didn't
rocket.
Coleslaw give us a rocket launcher?
Yeah.
Do you trust that thing?
Yeah, I trust that thing.
I mean, if you can hit it, like, on the move, at range...
How good are you with heavy weapons?
Heavy weapons 5. Yeah, we might be able to do that.
Okay, so VTOL comes in. I mean, what I'd feel better about is if the VTOL itself just had, like, small weapons arrays on it, fire just like a little Sidewinder at the goddamn tower or whatever. And that
Do we know what kind of VTOL we could pick up in this short time span we have? Like, is there one with an option that you're talking about?
We would have to reach out.
I know a smuggler.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, get him on the line and see what you can line up there. See if his VTOL has weapons arrays or anything like that. They can just shear the comm tower right off as we're on approach. Just hit it with like a small rocket or something. If not, we can do it by hand, but that makes it a little more complicated.
Yeah, I could give him a phone if you. Are you guys sure that you want to go the T-Bird route and go hot and heavy?
Doesn't
I
sound
don't
like we
think
have
it-
an option.
There's
You know
no
what, I like
option
it
if
hot
we
and
have to
heavy.
do 3 days.
Yeah, with 3 days, this is how it has to go down. It just has to be like a black bag deal.
It's gonna take so long just to fly out there and fly back.
Alright. Let's call up my smuggler and see what we've got going on. So I'd like to call up Ryan.
Ding 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 ding. Ding ding. Right, I'm gonna roll to check if he's 3 because the people with higher connections and lower loyalties tend to be not so 3. However, he is a 1-1, so there's a good chance he'll be 3.
In the meantime, Pug, I don't know if you want to get your weapons dealer on the line and see what kind of jammers they have available, or
No reply.
I'm just coming up with backup plans just in case, you know, the rocket and the explosives don't work. Or if they have a backup thing that's off the record, because this boat is 30 years old. Chances are they've retrofitted a little bit too.
Okay, but you get through to voicemail. Hey, this
Ryan.
is Ryan. If you want to discuss some sort of business transaction or moving of your goods, please leave a message off the tone. If you're anyone else, you can fuck off.
Ryan, it's Cable. Give me a call. It's important.
Did you say anything else?
No.
Okay. Basically, testing his loyalty.
Nice.
Okay. About half an hour later. Hey, Cable, what is it? I'm a bit of a busy
Hey,
meeting
Ryan.
at the moment. You can hear the sound of a turboprop or something. You're not a mechanical guy going somewhere behind him.
I've got a cracking job for you, mate. If you're willing to take it.
When do you want me? I'm busy these days, you know.
ASAP, man.
ASAP. You better be paying well.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yes, it will pay well. I need a lift. Do you happen to have a VTOL or anything that can get me somewhere quick?
Aye. I can manage that.
Alright, I need to be somewhere tomorrow.
Where do you need to be tomorrow?
The Arctic.
Where do you want putting down in the Arctic?
On top of a boat.
Okay, so you want me to take you out to the Arctic. You want me to put you on top of a boat. Do you want to then let me leave, or do you want me to wait around for you? You want me to wait around for you,
we
don't
should...
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know
Where
what it's
exactly in the
like,
Arctic?
man.
Do you have a location you can pin me right now?
Not yet.
Hold on. I will have calculated at this point because of my nautical knowledge.
Yeah.
I would have already calculated the route and where our intercept points and things
Yeah.
were.
It's going quite slow at the moment because it's just effectively just bobbing around, cruising a little bit, looking for whatever it's looking for in its job, mission, profile.
I ping, yeah,
Yeah.
on your comm code, I ping you the ambush point as I hear that.
Alright, I've got the position here. I'm gonna send it across.
I mean, I could do that, but here's the problem. That's at the limit of the fuel range of the T-Bird. And if you want me to hang around, I will have a very limited time to hang around for you. You're gonna be quick, are you?
Oh yeah, we're gonna be hella quick.
Okay, I can't hang around for more than... I mean, an hour would be pushing it. I'm just saying. I can probably push it a little bit longer. I'll pack
Way
up with
under an
fuel,
hour, yeah.
put extra batteries in. But it's gonna be...
Yeah,
it's gonna be pushing it.
Yeah, we're not gonna be that long anyway. Don't you
Okay.
worry.
Like 5 minutes tops. This boat is tiny. In, hit his bunker, or hit his bunk. Get the hell out of there. That's it.
Yep.
Just be aware that there's no scratching of the T-Bird. This thing's expensive.
Yeah, man. Shouldn't be any shitting of that. Should just be the shitting of me.
Okay, well, if there's any expenses to pay for, you're paying for it. And if it's damaging out
Yeah,
for a
of
little
course,
while,
man.
God forbid out there, otherwise we're all going to freeze to death, then here's the important thing. You're paying me for loss of earnings. Otherwise, the cost will be to get you out there, short notice like this. Fuel as well. It's not cheap. It's not cheap.
Throw the cost at me, man.
I mean, we are friends after all, aren't we, Caber?
I'd say so.
Yeah, good mates, you know, gone back away, so you know, I can do you a special discount, and I'll put it at 12 grand.
A 12 grand, man.
Haggle.
Right, so if you can do it for 10, then I can send you the money right now.
No, you're going to pay me 12 grand, and it's going to be up front because I need to pay for fuel.
You know what, man? Because I like you, I'm not going to try and work you down. I'll pay you the 12 grand, and I'll come over just now and I'll pay you.
Okay, I'll be touching down in a little bit. I'll let you send you the money wirelessly if you can. He sends you over a account number. And let me know where to meet you, and I'll try and pop down as soon as possible. Well, I'm going to have to stop at a couple of islands on the way up to refuel, just to get the maximum range.
Yeah, no shame, man.
Has my helmet arrived yet?
Yeah, Little Raj gave you a message saying that the package is waiting for you to collect it.
Oh shit, I collect it because we're back at my house.
Okay, so you
I
pop
gotta
out to
get
Little
it.
Raj's shop nearby.
Yeah.
By now, it's getting on late. Little Raj is shutting up shop. You get there, you see a couple of cars out front with sort of the wheels still off, kind of up on jacks. Little Raj is busy shutting up, looking kind of professional almost. Like, at the moment, this is weird. You haven't really seen him look professional before. And he turns around and goes, completely drops it. Oh, Blowback, how you doing, mate? Oh, how's it going, man? Oh, you got your package. You came for the package, right? Yeah, you're going to love this. He opens the door again. This kind of short orc, big turban on, dark red, little sort of dark red tracksuit, white stripes down the side, big gold chain around his neck, comes out this very square cardboard box.
I take the package and I'm like, oh, this is such good looking out, man. I've been excited about this one. You
Oh,
done
yeah,
good
mate,
on this.
I was so tempted to try it on, and then I realized that I'd have to take the turban off, and you know,
Not allowed. I get it.
No.
You got like beliefs and stuff going on. It's cool.
yeah, that's how it works, man. But yeah, no, it looks pretty sweet.
All right, life treating you good since the fight? How you keeping?
Not bad, not bad. Had some pretty weird folks around the other day asking some weird questions, but other than that, perfectly fine. You don't happen to know any
Anything I
Russian
should be
blokes,
worried
do you?
about? Yeah, I know a couple Russian dudes. What'd he look like?
There were a couple of hefty-looking Russian guys. One of them was an orc. Said the name was Boris, and the other one was Dmitri. Don't know which was which.
Were they looking for me?
No, mate, they were not looking for you. They were actually just, you know, they were asking about cars and stuff, and just seemed a little bit off about them. They, you know, asked how my kneecaps were doing.
You still got that fancy ride you had in the lockup?
Yeah, still working on it. Needs a bit of work, you know. See, things like
It
that
might be
don't just
about-
like, you know, don't just polish themselves, mate. Got to get some
Yeah,
work
do
on
you-
them.
Do yourself a favor, man. Lose that car in the paperwork. All right? I heard through the grapevine, like, Russian dude came by the lockup a little while back and he saw it, and he was asking a fuck ton of questions about it, and it seemed like he kind of wanted it. So because we go back, man, I'm just giving you heads up right now. You may want to make that thing disappear for a little while. Make it seem like you don't have it.
Make a persuasion test.
Oh, I don't have persuasion.
Make a charisma -1 check.
Oh, this is not going to go well. Well, at least I didn't fail. There we go. We didn't crit. Or glitch.
Still means the status quo, but he gets worried. Well, that's not good. But you know, this car, you know, it's worth like a pretty dime, mate. You know, can't just, you know, get rid of, you know, stuff. Like, I put good money into this, right?
Oh, I'm not saying you get rid of it. I'm saying that with your newly found money, you find a way to fabricate it not existing anymore, even though it's still yours for a little while. Just make it seem like you sold it to somebody, and then you just hold on to it. Because if you like your kneecaps, these guys are scary as shit, bro.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do, mate. I'll see what I can do. Now, just, you know,
Yeah.
look after the helmet, yeah? Let me know how it goes.
Oh, I will. I'm planning on trying this thing on right when I get home. Thanks, man. Good looking out.
Okay. And he continues showing up shop. You pop away. You now have yourself a cardboard box.
Very nice. Please tell me it's like.
You can hide on it.
Please tell me it's got like Hello Kitty wrapper around it.
And then sadly, it's just a very plain cardboard box. Very
Damn.
plain.
So
All right.
meanwhile, Pug needs to call Mio again and see if we can get a hold of a jammer.
We may not need it. I have one right now on the helmet. It's a rating 6. And it's a directional one, meaning I point the helmet at something, it does not work if I'm within range. That thing is busted. It is not working.
So
Can we test this out?
the rest of the group haven't actually seen a helmet yet.
Yeah, we're back at your place, aren't we?
Okay, so when I get home, I place the box on the floor like a kid on Christmas and plop down like Indian style with my legs crossed and start rifling through the box.
Okay, so you rip off the lid and you look inside, and there's sort of this sort of just random packing styrofoam of all various shapes packed around it, and you pull out a biker's helmet. Now, this biker's helmet looks pretty good, but it's very matte grey, kind of a dull matte grey on the outside. The visor's sort of this shimmery sort of metallic color as well, almost sort of iridescent in places. Out to the side, it's got this weird sort of slight boom off to the left-hand side, and there's a slight dot at the top just above the visor, which looks like it's an embedded camera. There's a couple of grills down the bottom that look like they can be shut off, and it looks like some custom job has gone into this, although it's almost seamless in the amount of stuff that seems to have gone into it. It looks very well tailored, and you notice that some of the material involved as well is particularly soft, particular type of fabric that looks particularly expensive. Not expensive because of its well tailoring, but because of the sort of interwoven, you can see almost wires running through it.
And so I take the helmet and I put it on and I say, guys, check this shit out. I sync it with my comm link, not the one that Seder Krupp, or not the one for the Seder Krupp run,
Okay.
but my other rating 5, my whatever. I sync it with that, and I push a button, and all of a sudden the paint job changes on it to like the most bloody, gory, like violent Pac-Man chomping down thing you've ever seen, and then the eyes are Nuyen symbols. And I was like, check this shit out, guys.
Okay, so the
It's
helmet
got, like
shimmers a little bit in places and then subtly turns, sort of a sudden sort of red ball appears effectively where the helmet was, except it's got like teeth, elongated fangs in sort of this white and beige dripping blood down them, little gold and Noyan symbols for eyes.
Looks like
So this
Christmas
thing-
came early. Holy shit.
Oh, it did. This thing's got it all, man. This thing's got, oh my god. I gotta go through the list with you guys. That's how awesome this is. It's got like glare reduction. It's got my smart link in here. It's got like an image link. It's got trodes. It's got a rating 6 directional jammer. I point this thing at anything and it don't work anymore. Like, here, hold on. Take your comm link out.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
not-
just gonna grab this wonderful
I'm not
comlink.
playing this game. I'm gonna go.
It's a Hermes icon. What could possibly go wrong?
I turn on the jammer and I look right at the icon.
It stays online because, as you notice, Pug holds it up in front of you. He has a cable running to the back of his neck. For everyone else, it turns off. Pug's still like, yeah, I'm listening to my music. What's wrong? For everyone else, wireless connectivity with that device is just gone. For Pug, yeah, seems good. Looking through my emails.
So on my comm link, I show him. I'll be like, all right, so it was anticlimactic, but on my comm link, look, and I hold it out like that, and it shows that he's offline.
And you want to use this on the ship?
As soon as
Oh,
you
we're
hold it
gonna
out,
use it on
though,
the ship.
blowback, your comlink goes offline.
Ah!
You can
So
hold
I
it out
turn
to
off
the
the-
side.
Yeah, I turn off the jammer real fast. But yeah, man, it's got a respirator inside of it, so you can't get me with gas or anything else. This thing's got everything, man. This thing is bad. You guys need one of these. You know you want it. Look at it. You want to touch the shininess?
Blowback,
Oh.
you start feeling a bit lightheaded.
Did I remember to turn on the breathing mechanism or whatever? I look around for a breathing
you quickly
mechanism.
check the sort of the vents at the front, and you notice that they've got slight sort of cardboard inlays in them to prevent the filter just getting clogged with dust in transport.
Oh no! I take the helmet off and I start pulling those out.
You can breathe normally now. You put it back on.
Oh, coolest toy ever! Coolest toy ever!
Does it have any nice little plastic things that you can peel off?
Oh yeah, when you get something new and you get to peel off the plastic from all like the chrome. I don't know. Does it? Perception
No.
check.
The entire thing is covered in the paint that can change color, except of course for the visor itself. The visor itself does have one of those plastic things that you can rip off though, so you can rip that off. It's pretty fun.
I pointed at Pug. I'd be like, "You want to rip it off? You seem like you kind of want to take this off right now."
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's one of the simple pleasures that Pug has in life. So he's gonna rip
It's like
right
bubble
off.
wrap.
Slowly though, slowly.
And
Slowly.
the sound
There
of
you
like
go.
that sort of lovely sound of where the plastic comes off something that's so smooth and well sealed to it. Like it's like silk tearing. It comes off the front.
Fantastic. So the jammer that's on this helmet should help us on the job. If we come in low enough in the VTOL, as long as I maintain eye contact with the damn thing, it should be good, and then that should give us enough time to either shoot it or B, affix a jammer to it so that I don't have to look at it anymore. And then I can focus on jamming other people's comms on the boat by keeping eye contact with them.
So the rule with directional jammers is that your one is a rating 6. It loses 1 point for every 20 meters from in front of you with an arc of 30 degrees. Now bear in mind, if you move your head at all, that will change. So your perception is going to be somewhat limited if you target something, because you can't move your head, and you have a little bit limited vision without turning your head. However, the boat has a comm and a backup comm relay for being able to access the matrix. It has a satellite-mounted comm unit, which is effectively a rating 12. Will not be defeated by your helmet. And it has a backup one, which is a rating 8. Your helmet would reduce it to rating 2, which probably wouldn't be enough to reach land. But the satellite-mounted, the satellite transceiver could, yes.
And I would know this from looking at the comm, or looking at the codes?
All of it is on the schematics there, and which you can read because you've got engineering.
Okay. So scratch that, guys. I can actually knock out one of the jammers with the helmet, but the big one is going to have to be done dirty. We got to get a better jammer, I guess, in order to get rid of that one, because it's pretty powerful. Either that or just destroy the bastard, one or the other.
Well, would we be able to get close enough to destroy it without being detected?
That's why I was hoping we would have long-range weapons on whoever smuggler's ship that we were flying in on, or I'm sorry, plane that we were flying in on.
Okay, so a VTOL is fairly noisy, and they would be able to detect it on radar unless it flew close to the surface, or unless it flew very high up. Of course, they're just not really too worried about radar on this ship. So if you flew very high up, wouldn't really matter. They'd maybe assume you're a commercial jet or whatever. Not that commercial jets tend to go that latitude, but you could go very high up and it wouldn't be too much of a bother to them. If you went very low, you'd be under the radar coverage. If it was particularly stormy, then you might be okay. However, that if you got in particularly close with VTOL, it is quite loud.
Well, it sounds like we definitely need to get a jammer then.
Yeah, so I would run that by at least like a rating 12 or 15, maybe with omnidirectional, but that would jam all of our comms too. But I could set it up beforehand to exclude our objects from the jamming. But we would have to get it soon so that I could set it up. I don't want to do this on the plane, basically.
The issue with getting a jammer strong enough to defeat the satellite thing is they are incredibly rare, and you're basically talking military standard to be able to jam a satellite uplink. I don't think they even exist under raw rules. Technically, under raw rules, you can only get a rating 6 jammer. Because satellite uplinks are, they are pointed directional beams of high intensity to get to the satellite and not get interfered with. They are literally overriding other signals trying to aim at that satellite. At least traditionally. These days, they don't do that system. But that is what they were originally based on.
What skills would be checked for parachuting in out of character?
There is freefall.
Okay, we don't have any of that.
So
we'd have to come in low. There would be a wireless system
on most parachutes these days that would allow you to effectively substitute a small skill. If you fail, yeah, you might break your neck or drown or tie up on your parachute. Depending on the weather, it could be worse. But there would be a small wireless assist in most parachutes these days.
Okay. What if we got a big-ass magnet with just like a sticky side to it and just stuck it to the dish on the way by? Like a really, really, really magnetized, like a hardcore magnet.
Would mess with the antenna. You could do that.
Or we could just blow it the fuck up. I mean, it depends if we're going for theatrical or super spy agent thing. I mean, it's kind of a simple solution. It's kind of like one of those, like, the Russians brought pencils to space solutions.
Pretty happy blowing it up.
Do you want to do a pro-con list? Because one thing we haven't tried, actually, so far, which might be good for the planning phase, is I can just give you a whiteboard and let you start drawing on it. Just don't draw penises. Because I can only wipe everything or nothing. So try and only write down things that you need to write down.
Well, this one's kind of rough because normally you pitch runs to us at the end of our session, and then we have like an entire week to kind of get into our little team speak group and kind of like talk about it and decide what we want to do. This time around, we're just like spitballing off the cuff because we're in the middle of a live show, and so it's a little bit tougher to plan. But I think it should. I mean, with 3 days, there's only a certain amount of sophistication we can put into the plan, and so it's looking like smash and grab, almost burglary level type stuff right now.
Well, we know that even if they do get a signal off, that their response time is going to be pretty slow. By the time they get a ship or a plane out to us, we should be long gone. So the question is, can we destroy their satellites so they won't be able to track us from the ship and still get away in time?
We could just plant explosives while we're there, and then what we could do is we could feint back. When we fly back, we tell him to go, I don't know, over Norway or something, for example, on his way back to England. We blow with the C4, we blow it. Once they've got our heading tracked that way, they think we're going to a different country, and then we just make a beeline back to the UK after we know the detonation's gone off. I mean, something like that would give them a false flag or a false positive. At least buy us a little bit of time.
Don't aircraft have to show like where they're coming from and what their destination is?
Yeah, you have to find a flight plan.
Yeah, well, why don't we just put in our flight plan that we're going to Longyearbyen, which is on a Norwegian island, fairly close to the Arctic. It would make sense for a plane to be coming from there.
Sounds good to me.
Smugglers wouldn't normally file the flight plan, though, or at least they'd forge one. They can do that, though, yeah. So your two options right now you've come up with are shoot from a moving plane at the satellite or parachute in so far.
Do we need to take the satellite out?
No, not the satellite. The
No, we don't need to.
the array on
Do we
the
need to
ship,
take the
I mean.
comms out at all? Like, if it's going to be that long for them to actually get any reinforcements, then fucking get in, take them out, and get away.
I mean, technically the ship is large enough to where when the VTOL comes in, we could just hover above it and drop right onto the deck, if your boy's skilled enough. And then from there, it takes off. He gets like a safe distance away. He comes back and picks us up after we got the guy in manacles. Exact same thing. Almost like ocean rescue style, just puts down the rope or whatever, and then we just crank him on back up. Alternatively, we could have him hover over the ocean and drop us in a dinghy. Then we go aboard the boat, grab who we need, just leave the dinghy, and then he'll pick us up on the boat. And there's a lot of approach strategies here. I don't think we need a parachute.
I'm worried about having room on the boat or having a undamaged surface on the boat from the land.
Well, he doesn't have to land. He just has to hover because he's got the vertical takeoff units. He's just got to keep it steady above the boat, you know, and then drop a rope for us and we slide down and do our thing. Since their response time we know is so slow, the only thing I could see going wrong right now is that their security staff has some kind of rocket or some kind of surface-to-air missile launcher.
Would they have surface-to-air missiles? That seems a bit heavy-handed.
I'm not talking like SAM sites. I'm talking about like one of the disposable ones that just like a normal military squad would have. Exactly.
I don't know. It seems a bit. I don't know. It seems a bit heavy for a science research vessel.
It's the #2 corporation on the planet. They've got a reputation to maintain. They can't have people knocking over their boats every other day and knowing that they're undefended.
Yeah, if they don't have, if they're this far away from land, they know their backup is going to be so delayed. They might have some defenses like that.
So then, how would we lock down? Let's say that they do have some kind of rocket launcher. How do we nullify that while he drops us off? Essentially, like how do we? I mean, I would assume he would have some kind of chaff, but if he's flying low, he's not going to have time to respond. He's not going to have time to react to that because we're talking 15, 20 meters on the shot. He would have to be at a full moving speed with the chaff in order to get rid of the rocket, which means we either do a preliminary flyby or we do flybys until they fire at us and we know that they've used up the... Like I said, this run feels nasty to me, especially on the 3-day. There's a lot of things that can go wrong here.
Well, I think it'd be pretty safe to do the parachute in then, because then we're not going to have to get super duper close. We can just do that
until
from higher up.
Taking them out. Yeah.
Then we make sure we get all their security force either tied up or dealt with some other way, from overboard, anything, and then we can come in and with the VTOL and pick up.
If we go in at night, most of them will be asleep, and we can just go straight for the bunk that we need. It's already right here on the schematic.
Oh, we know the bunk?
Yeah, we should be able to figure it out pretty easily. I mean, I don't know if they're labeled right now, but...
If we go in at night, then we can just lock everyone's doors. That'd be fantastic.
Assuming we can get through the security, we don't have we don't have our resident tech guy. I mean, I guess I could hit up Black Sun, but I mean, he's going to be facing a lot of noise trying to do this remotely.
In terms of locking
what the
doors,
hell's his range?
You can also seal doors. There are two ways to do that. You can use a thermite burning bar to seal metal objects together, which you can plug it basically on the edge of the door frame and then just get it to fuse it. Or you can use a glue sprayer, which basically sprays a very strong adhesive, very useful for holding doors closed if you're getting chased, or for keeping people in those rooms. So that would be another alternative for you.
I have a welder. Would that work?
You could use a welder, though they are designed for use over several minutes, and it would depend on your welding skill. That said, you are a pretty good engineer, so you could use that, although it wouldn't be as good. It's not designed for a pinch situation. But yeah, you could. It's more designed for cutting through something over a period of time. That said, if they lock their door, you can get through it.
Okay. So, the parachute strategy, that's what you're a fan of, Pug?
Not a fan of it, but I think it makes the most sense if we want to get in there basically unknown.
I really don't want to parachute.
Okay.
It's going to end well for me.
So, if you're going to parachute, what are you going to do about the water? You're going to take an inflatable boat, or you're going to scuba dive in, or...
I'm going to land on the deck is what I was hoping for.
You could try that. It would be difficult, but you could do it.
You would assume with wireless assist or something, we'd be able to just make the parachute do it. Like, parachute, land me over there through AR. Land me on the point that I'm looking at right now through my smart gun link.
Well, you were saying you want to do this at night. At night, the deck of what will probably be a moving vessel in unknown sea conditions, no one's looked up the weather yet, might be a little bit tricky, especially for no one with free fall. I don't believe anyone has free fall here. The wireless will make sure that your parachute opens, hopefully. It's not... It's more of a... You should know how to use the parachute. If you don't and you're jumping out of a plane, it'll open. Probably. Not... Oh, you need to land exactly there. Awesome, we'll automatically do this. You might be able to get, special hang gliders and stuff with AR, like, overlays and stuff that might be able to do that. Although they're normally designed for a little bit longer stopping distance.
I kind of think we might want to go with just like the dinghy option. We just drop a dinghy from the VTOL a little bit before the boat comes by, he bugs out, and we just chill and wait inside the dinghy until the boat comes by, and then we just, grappling hook on board, essentially, and just do it that way.
Well, I mean, it's a catamaran. It'll be easy enough just to climb on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll have ladders all over. Yeah,
That
it's
also
fun.
eliminates the...
Is that going to be something unnoticed? Like, are they just... Because I think that with the parachutes, they're just not going to notice anything. Like, they're not even going to see anything on any of their scans. But for anything in the water, they'll notice something.
We have to hope that they're not being vigilant at night. And that either that or when the VTOL drops us off, they'll be focused on that plane like, what the hell was that?
Depends on the boat you get. You can get... Some boats are designed to be particularly silent and noticed on sonar. You could row, or you could get one that's slightly silent and then row the last bit. When you drop it, you shouldn't have too many problems because it'll land on the top of the sea, and it's probably going to be an inflatable dinghy made of rubber, so it's not going to really sink very far or make much noise. It would just sound like something hitting the water, which could just be wildlife. That won't be too much of a problem for you. It's the issue of how to move the boat, or how you get in the boat. If you're planning to just get in as soon as it's inflated, they will probably have an automatic inflation sensor. Most lifeboats do. Oh, you're in the water, inflate. You could get in from the VTOL. If it's choppy seas, you have to be careful not to let the boat float away, but it can be done.
Tie a rope round it.
Easier said than done in choppy
Pug.
seas. In normal seas, you're probably okay, though.
Yeah. Pug can row.
Well, thanks for
Got all those
volunteering.
muscles.
You're welcome.
Okay, so what are you doing? The parachute in or the boat? Bear in mind that the boat means that you have to get the VTOL a lot closer. A lot further away because the noise it makes and the fact that if you get too close, even above the water, you will appear on radar. So you probably
Yeah,
have
but
to be a little aware.
planning on putting it somewhere inside their known traveling path, so they'll come across us.
Okay, in which case you might want Arctic weather gear because you'll be sitting out for several hours in the cold.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable.
How do you guys feel about two boats? We drop the one as the security diversion, and we put the crybaby on another dinghy that's off on another part of the path. Maybe security goes out and investigates it, and then we're sitting in the path in ours. Maybe that gets the guys with the guns out of the way.
It's reasonable, but then you have to wonder, like, if you do a crybaby, then they're probably going to wake up all security. They're not all going to be awake at night, and they're not all going to be awake during the daytime. They're probably on rotating shifts. So if you do a crybaby, they're probably going to just sound the alarm, be like, "Hey, there's something to do. Everybody get the fuck up." And all of a sudden, you're dealing with everyone instead of just maybe two guys.
Good point. It's valid. What kind of objects do we have for incapacitating somebody quietly?
sniper rifle with gel rounds.
Can you make a shot on choppy seas like
That's
Navy
not
SEAL
quite.
style?
Gel rounds still fire using the same codex.
He has a silencer though, doesn't he?
I've got a silencer, yeah.
Silencers will be a -4 penalty to detect. Yes. Bear in mind, by the way, that dropping the boat and then waiting for several hours, the T-Bird doesn't have fuel for that. T-Bird said it can be on station for an hour. It can maybe push that a little bit. If for an hour, you'd be getting risky close.
If we were waiting 2 or 3 hours, though, would he have time to bug back, refuel, and come back again? Because 3 to 4 hours.
To go back, come back again, you're looking at more like 8 to 10. Flying time increased because he has to fly low to avoid radar.
It's not sounding like there's a whole lot of solutions to doing this quietly based on location. I mean, aside from hiring a different jet to come get us at a synchronized interval for even more money. So one to drop off, one to pick up. But that's already eating into our profits for doing it in 3 days, almost completely, given what we paid already.
Well, I mean, we've went the quiet way, and it doesn't seem like there's anything that we can really do that's going to be quiet, except trying to parachute onto the deck, or parachuting into the water nearby it with scuba gear. But I mean, like, parachutes are easily noticeable, even at night.
If you get a stealth parachute, specially designed for this sort of thing, which are available, there's also night wings available, which are effectively small gliders designed for covert infiltration. All those night wings do become a few thousand each, but they're only a few thousand each. Those are designed to not appear on radar, and they're also designed not to appear to an eye.
With the Nightwing, what would the skill be? Would that be aeronautical driving, or what would that count as?
I will check for you now. I believe it would be aeronautics.
I was gonna say, because if we have a larger one and you guys are just attached, I could fly it in, and you guys would just be passengers hooked in on each side. I mean, we'd have to have it specially built, which cuts down on our time a bit, and this is like military spec shit, so there's no guarantee we could actually get our hands on it.
Artemis Nightwing. Ooh, actually the price has gone up. I'm gonna say you probably don't want the Nightwing.
Alright.
So do we just risk it with them landing us on deck, and if we see anybody on deck with a rocket launcher or any shit, I just point the jammer at them on my helmet and hope that the rocket can't fire or lock on with all the noise?
You can still get unpowered gliders and so on. The Nightwing is actually powered and so on, extra special. But you can still get unpowered gliders and parachutes designed to be invisible on radar. For a little price, but not a lot. Not the Nightwing. The Nightwing's 20,000.
Damn.
Yeah. The Nightwing also has an engine that's silent, so that would be why. But you can get parachutes and gliders that are silent, that are unpowered and have a limited range. Especially if they're disposable, they're also cheaper. The Artemis is not disposable.
We could always just say screw going silent.
I don't think
Land
we have
on
much
it,
of a
just shoot
choice.
people. Be all good.
I mean, if we got limited fuel, which means we have to be on deck quickly, we have to be done quickly, and we have to be out quickly, I guess we're back to square one and smash and grab.
I mean, I would love to do it silently, but I don't think we've got much of a choice.
Okay, bear in mind that as discussions go on, I will be making sure that the time goes past in-game. So by now, you're probably getting on to about 9 p.m.
Okay, do we want to set up a pickup time with your pilot to get out there and go?
He said he was going to message me when he landed.
Yeah, which is about now. It's Ryan.
Hello.
Hey, K-Bud. Okay, so what's the job? You want me to land you on a boat? Is this boat not wanting you to land on it?
Boats tend to not want me to land on them.
Okay. Do you want me to land on the boat directly? Do you want me to drop you nearby? Do you want me to parachute you in?
Nah, I just want you low enough that we can jump on the boat.
A boat that doesn't want you to land on it, and you want me to be nearby. Well, I'm going to say that's going to be a little bit extra, because if you want me to actually expose my T-bird, my kind of valuable T-bird, to enemy weapons fire, that's going to be painfully expensive.
I messaged Caber through his AR and say, ask him what his suggestion is, since he does this for a living.
Oh, and ask him, does it have any weapons on it?
Alright, my team's got a couple of questions for you before we start talking brass tacks. First off, what do you think would be the best idea for getting on this boat that doesn't want us to be on it?
Well, I've looked up the weather. You've not really picked a great time. Yes, that is a 1.
Yay.
There's a storm in that region for the next 2 to 4 days. So it's going to be tough. And landing you on a boat in moving choppy water at low altitude, I'm just going to say that's going to be pretty tough. Add in the fact that, I don't want my bird to get shot at, because that'd be expensive. And also, if it crashes out there, we're all dead. I don't really fancy that one. Now, you got a couple of other choices. You said something about dropping in with a boat, and then there's parachuting. I mean, if you can take the parachuting option, I can get you some parachutes. That's well within my remit to get you, even at short notice. But the boat would also work, but you're looking at kind of, I don't have long to loiter, so I'll either have to leave you and come back, which is a few hours. I don't know if their response team would get you in time if you screw up, or if you're going to parachute, don't screw up. That said, if you're parachuting into the water and you're flopping around down there in the middle of a storm, less likely to notice you. Alternatively, you could drown after getting tangled up in your parachute and die.
Yeah, the parachuting option just does not sit well with me, being
Excellent.
someone
I
who
love that
probably
idea.
wouldn't
We should
be
do that
able
one.
to work.
I've got parachutes ready and lined up.
Nah, man, I don't think so. Leave it with me, and I'll ring you back real quick.
Okay.
Right, he thinks it'd be best off if we parachute in, but of course he would, because then he's not risking getting shot at. I can tell you right now that I'm not parachuting in, because if I miss, I don't want to be in the water for reasons.
So what weapons does he have?
He doesn't have any weapons
detail.
on it, man. He's just a smuggler. He's not Han Solo.
What if we make it so we're supposed to be there? We could hit up Black Sun and see if he knows anybody in his network that could get us added to the manifest. Put in a fake work order or a fake receiving order for more personnel.
Transfer team. Yeah, we're transferring in. We're gonna get these 3 scientists out of there. Perfect.
Yeah. Yep. Help Black Sun see.
It would
see
be
how difficult
very
that would be.
unusual. I mean, you could do it especially if you fabricate a very good work order. It would be very suspicious and very unusual for personnel to be changed at sea in the middle of a storm. It would have to be a very pressing reason to change personnel in the middle of a storm at sea.
We could just fabricate that his family's dead or something in like a horrible accident.
They wouldn't take him off in the middle of a storm even then. You'd be risking everybody's lives by trying to get him off in the middle of a storm.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even see how this run is remotely possible given everything that's going on right now. I mean, I'm being super real with you right now. I don't. This is looking a little too fatal to me. Like the more things that line up, the storm is just one more thing to add to the list that I don't see us accomplishing this.
Well, you have free comm code calls to your contact, and you also have a lot of annoyance splash around.
I mean, we could hit up Larry Williams, Pseudo's contact. They got us the fake sins. That's what she does. She does forgeries, doesn't she?
Yeah. Bear in mind, by the
Maybe
way,
she could.
for jobs that are really kind of tough and very specific like this one, when you're getting paid a lot of money, it is kind of normally required, or at least expected, that you will spend a large part of money on being able to go do the job. So don't worry about splashing money around, because that's why you get paid so much money. But do bear in mind that if you can find ways to avoid splashing money, then great, that saving goes straight in your pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a face. I don't see why we don't give the face a try. See if we can't get ourselves legit on this boat.
What kind of? I mean, we have those comm codes. What kind of favors could we get out of the comm codes too? Like, if they want this job done, they're gonna have to do some work too. I mean, they're serving up a tall order right now. A real tall order.
I mean, we could always explain to them that we've got the storm and stuff like that to try and get some extra days. But
I don't know if that'll work with these kind of connected ties, but you could try.
I doubt they would, because they would just be willing to give us the less money, and we're doing it in 10 days as opposed to doing it in 3.
You can make a comm call if you want.
I just don't see the point.
My suggestion would be to convince them to handle the evac, so that we can get dropped off in our bird. He doesn't have to hang around. That frees us up for a bunch of different options, because right now we're limited by the fact that he can't hover. If we can convince the other corporation to handle the evac with one of their smugglers with us there, that frees up. That allows us to wait in the water in a dinghy for a while and do some other stuff that would make this go a lot better. Granted, we still have the storm. So, storms in the area, that might fuck up everything. A dinghy is not going to do well with 20-foot swells and shit like that. This is not going to be super pleasant.
Yeah,
But it's
I
just
really
an
don't
option.
think they're gonna want to come pick us up. To be honest.
Yeah. I mean, if we do go with the initial plan of shutting down the comm array that they've got, could we not just clear out the boat and steal the fucking boat?
Yeah, and I'm sure they could track it with
With a
their
3-hour
satellite.
response time. Yeah, they land a strike team on there and geek us all. I don't think we can make this boat disappear that quickly.
Oh, I'm just spitballing ideas still. man.
Yeah. Oof.
The new development of the storm, do you want to give them a call so that they can do?
Maybe possible that, I mean, we could have the guy on the boat flagged as an asset that needs to be removed because of the storm. If we could fabricate something that makes it look like the storm is actually really, really bad and it's putting staff at risk, and this guy is mission critical, that might be an excuse we could play off of to drag him out. And then they would just hand him over for extraction in that situation. The storm, legitimately, this is a small boat and this is a big storm.
Yeah.
Maybe. We might be able to forge something like that, but we would have to go through the channels and get Satyr Krupp lined up on it, which is going to eat into time. But, I mean, that would be a really, really clean way to do it,
Okay.
assuming the
Well, I
forgery
mean,
goes through and
Even
we
if
get the
that does
signal out
take
from the right
us,
place.
even if that does take us longer, I'd be happy to take the hit if we can get it done clean. Because, like you said, I'm not very happy with. Like, I don't want to parachute in, and we can't really land on. I don't know, man. The other option's still like trying to land on it and just taking them out. It might cost us a bit extra, but like just the smash and grab.
So you're saying we wait until the storm passes, then we smash and grab?
Well, I mean, like we can always smash and grab in the storm. That seems like the only option we've got to do it in 3 days. If you want the extra payout, is just to smash and grab it in
I
the
was
storm
okay with
and
the
do it
job
that
if we
way.
just weren't doing the 3 days. I don't like the 3 days constraint.
Yep.
The 10 days
Or
allows
we
us to
could-
line up something a lot sexier and something smoother that'll make us look better to our employers too.
Yep.
Yeah, I
I
think
would
if
send a
we
message.
if we do the 3 days and we're limited to the storm days, then we're just gonna have to do a smash and grab. There is no option. There's no time.
Yep.
Okay, well,
However,
I'm
that
okay
does
with-
eliminate.
Okay, but you get another call from Ryan. Okay, but I've put down at a small airfield just north of London. When you're ready to let me know. I'm actually looking at the fuel counter now. It'll probably be refueled in within the hour. So whenever you're ready to go.
Alright, no Sheen, man. I'll give you a poke.
Okay. If you want me to source, anything, parachutes, dinghies, etc., that sort of stuff is well within my remit. If you want me to do that, let me know. I can get it done pretty quick. But I'll need some knowledge, in time, because I'll need someone to actually bring that damn thing to me.
Alright, I'll let you know, man.
Alternatively, we could fabricate a reason to be on the boat. I mean, storms are dangerous to planes too. I mean, like I said, we got caught up in it, and we just need to chill and ride it out for a little while. Catamaran probably won't like it very much, but
I mean,
put down on
we could always drop the dinghy and go with that idea. We're setting out a distress beacon to get us on the boat. I mean, we'd be facing it up against harder opposition, but we'd be on the boat without having to worry about any dead drops or trying to fucking parachute onto the thing.
I say we just take the 10 days and we try to fabricate the order to extract the scientist. That way it's completely and totally in the hands of our forger. Let them do all the legwork and then just finance it. And then we just handle any hurdles they come across with a little bit extra nuyen or a side run or something like that. And then hopefully the extraction goes nice and smooth. We're in the middle of a storm right now. If we land in the dinghy, ocean storms are no joke.
Yep.
I mean, we're going to be sitting there for a while.
How good is your watercraft piloting?
6, like everything else. I got the grouping.
You would, majority of the time, be able to pilot a dinghy in an ocean storm. It wouldn't be a joke for you, but you could do it relatively
never mind.
reliably at 6.
Apparently, I don't have pilot. Never mind, I don't. I have pilot ground and pilot aircraft at high. I don't have pilot.
I thought you got it as a group.
Nautical.
I was almost certain you got one as a group. Oh, okay.
No, because I got pilot ground and pilot aircraft at different levels, so apparently I took them separately for some reason. Probably to exclude the nautical thing, because I figured we wouldn't be using it.
Oops.
We're on the big island.
Fucking boat. What do we need a boat for? We're in the middle of London.
So if we don't have that, then I think the dinghy's out of the question. It's just too dangerous for us. I think we're stuck. I think we're stuck with just a couple options, and one of them has to be the smash and grab, and the other one has to be the finesse option.
Yeah. So we've got the smash and grab. I mean, we could always land on the boat and say that we're there for a reason, as opposed to trying to forge things.
And just bullshit through.
Yeah.
Their communications will be up the whole time.
If I point my directional jammer at their rating 12, that'll drop them down to 6. With a little push, we could get that down low enough to, in a storm, there should also be ambient noise that's going to be messing with communications.
Yep.
There is a
Especially-
chance in a storm with the rating 6 that the satellite communications might go down. There is a chance. I'll give you that. Because
And we don't need them to go permanently down. We just need them to flicker. That's all that we need, is like flicking a light switch over and over and over again. Just enough to disrupt outgoing and ingoing to check on it. We could supplement that with a rating 6 directional jammer. I'm sorry, a rating 6 area jammer. So that we've got the area jammer when we drop on, and then I also use my rating 6. I don't know if they stack or not, but that would be a lot for them to deal with.
I believe they do stack. I'll have to double check.
See, that might
That
work.
sounds like a good option.
So basically, Caber has it in his backpack. That's a rating 6 that's knocking out the whole boat right there. And then I've got the Omni. I'm sorry, I've got the directional that I point at the, out a window or whatever at the tower, while you do the talking down below when we come in for the emergency extraction of the scientist. You're like, hey, he's got to go right now. He's mission critical. We've been sent over by Satyr Krupp. He's got to get the fuck out of here now because this storm is not looking good. And he is protected personnel. And hopefully, if you can talk us through it, you're going to be dealing with hired goons with guns here. Hopefully, you're better at talking than they are. And if it falls apart, fuck it, we just start shooting. Because that's what our backup plan was anyways with the 3 days notice.
Then do you even want to bother with the forgeries then?
No, just get the rating 6 jammer from Mayo, the area jammer.
Okay, so area jammers, I think, lose a point of rating per 1 or 2 meters. It's not very much. You would have to be standing literally next to it. You would need to be within 20 meters, and whoever had the area jam would need to be within effectively 1 or 2 meters of the actual comm code, the comm mast, to be able to definitely get to 0. Storm will, of course, add a few points, so you've got a little bit of give in that. But you would need to be right next to it to knock it out.
But they do stack?
But I think they stack. Until I find out otherwise, I'll say that they stack. I believe they stack.
So we hook the area jammer up to a walkie-talkie. Pug, when we come in, you take the walkie-talkie and you walk off in that direction, just like shouting nonsense about extraction in process, blah, 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 and you walk over to lean against the comm tower while you're doing that. Cater, your job is to intercept anybody and just bullshit them with the fact that we're extracting this scientist on an emergency thing in the middle of the storm. Keep them away from Pug by whatever means necessary. Stick to the story. Don't answer any supplementary questions that they have. Just blah, 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 blah. Just talk your ass off about how this guy's got to go right now and make it seem as urgent and deadly as fucking possible due to the storm. Basically play on their panic a little bit. Or at least play on their urgency about the storm, because they're going to be hustling in this storm. They're going to be like all hands on deck running around trying to make sure this thing doesn't... You know, have you seen that scene?
You now have 5
at the
bonus
end
die,
of
by the way.
Oh, cool. Very cool. At the end of Wolf of
some
Wall
of those
Street...
more risky tasks are looking a little bit less risky now.
Yeah, you know, like at the end of Wolf of Wall Street when they're on the yacht in the storm? It's going to be like that, kind of, when we're out there. And so, chances are, they're not going to question things too much because they got a fucking job to do to keep this thing from capsizing.
Bear in mind, it is catamaran, so there's a lot less chance for capsizing, thankfully.
Okay.
But yes, it's still not easy.
There's going to be a lot of water on deck. People are going to be freaking out a bit.
The scientists will be.
I like this idea.
Is there any way to get a Satyr Krupp?
Merit.
Can we get a Satyr Krupp security badge from Lowry or any of our other contacts on super short notice? Just something you can flash real fast that looks like it holds up, because it's going to be in the middle of the storm. They're not going to want to inspect it or anything on deck.
Most of that would be done via authorization codes and so on. It wouldn't be so much a physical badge anymore. I mean, you might have one to go with that, possibly, but the majority of it would be effectively matrix IDs.
Okay. Well, we would need... I would like some sort of name badge or something like that, something that we can shove onto a jumpsuit and go in wearing something that actually fits what we're supposed to be doing.
We have Lowry throw together a SIN that is linked to Satyr Krupp directly, because they're going to be checking our SINs when we're on board.
Okay.
Yep. Possibly.
She could possibly do that. Bear in mind that since Pseudo is not here, she's going to be hard to get hold of, especially at short notice. That's possible.
Let's spend that bonus. You know, get one for each of us at a certain rating that at least passes at a cursory glance. I mean, once again, we're in the middle of a fucking storm. They're not going to sit there and go through every credential when they've got a boat to keep above the water.
Yeah. You want to give her a call?
Yeah, if we have to spend our bonus to get this done, that sounds all right to me, because we're doing this on short notice anyways, so might as well make this look as professional as possible, so that our employer was like, damn, that was so sexy. You guys are like Black Ops up in there, and maybe we get further employment.
Well, if you want to call her, then I need to give Mio a call, see if we can't find a jammer.
Okay.
Or two.
And is this when we want to take a break then, since we have calls to make it, things like that?
Yeah, I was thinking that was a good plan. So
Cool.
we'll be back in about 6 minutes. I'm going to try and make this break quick because we've got quite a lot to go. So do a 6-minute break and then we'll be right back with you. So will they survive? Will they drown? Will they type in a parachute and die? Or will they just get shot off a boat after pretending to be a Satyr Krupp security guard? Who knows? But it's going to be interesting to find out which. Find out in 6 minutes' time. Don't go anywhere. Hello, and welcome back to Roll4It, the tabletop RPG show where we play some Shadowrun.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so in part 1 today, by the way, we're down on Avak sadly because he is ill. I've known people being like, oh, it's internet again. No, this time he decided to go with illness. It's like so many bad things befall him. Honestly, I just blame Scotland, but Kay would, you know.
No, I'm going to blame Scotland too. I'm blaming
There we go.
Scotland for all my PC issues. So
There you go.
I mean, we didn't have a K with tonight, and that would have been terrible. But luckily, it's just Pseudo we're down. So, you know, the squad's just without a hacker. What could possibly go wrong? Anyway, so in part 1 of tonight, they managed to get a job from what appears to be a pretty high-up megacorp Johnson, who wants to pay them a good deal of money if they can get them a scientist who's currently in the Arctic within the next 3 days, or still reasonable amount of money if they can get the scientist within the next 10 days. However, there is a storm going on in the next few days, so the large amount of money, 70k Noyan, comes with the proviso that it's incredibly dangerous and also very, very short time. However, Cabra is very much wanting the money.
Big surprise.
Yeah. Bear in mind, of course, we still have tips going on, so if you tip the team, they get extra die or possibly refreshed edge to help them, or if they get a ridiculously high number, they eventually get a favor, which might save their proverbial arses. Quite possibly. Of course, if you do use the command in chat, it will tell you exactly, like, there's a list of things. So, I'll dive straight back in. They are just coming up with the ends of their plan and about to start making some phone calls. So, it's about 10:30 the day you got given the job.
All right, well, Pug needs to call up Mio and see if she can get him a nice jammer or two that we can use to assist in disabling one of those comms, the big one.
Okay. So Mio was actually just about to call you back because you'd asked him to look into getting a rifle for blowback. So, pretty much at that point, as you decide to make some phone calls, Mio rings you back and you notice your comm code is buzzing.
Hey, Mio, what's up?
Oh, hello.
I was just about to call you.
Ah, that is fine. I managed to get a hold of the rifle you wanted. The rifle is quite easily available. I can get it to you tonight if you want. This rifle is going to be 2,000, if you're okay with that. 2,100
Sure.
million.
Whatever Blowback wants, he'll pay. No
It'll
problem.
come with 1 clip of full ammo, 3 service to you. I like you as customer. And also, you wanted to ask about something else?
Yeah, we have a special need right now. There's a really high-level comms unit that we need to jam. It's a level 12. And we've got 6 of it covered, but we're looking to find another jammer or 2 that we can use to assist in getting this level 12 knocked down to 0. You got anything?
Have you considered using more jammers? You could use many directional jammer, or you could have many area effect jammer.
Yeah, that's what I'm calling about.
Okay, well, I can rifle through the rulebook really quickly. Mia would have jammers available.
Fantastic. That's what I like to hear. Meanwhile, he's gonna give Blowback a little jab in the belly with his elbow and say, "Hey," or maybe not his, maybe it's his face. I don't know. Say, "Hey, you got 2,100 for your gun with a free load of ammo."
All right, and so I send over the 2,100.
We're gonna black eye.
I mean, we could do this charisma rolls wise. I could try to detect you being shady, and then you could try to con me, and we're both gonna roll 1 die, and it's gonna look fucking stupid.
No, he won't
Or
get
I
a
can
black
just
eye because he hasn't taken off the damn helmet since it came in the mail.
Yeah. All right, I give you the money.
Directional jammer is much easier to get hold of. A rating 6 would only be 12 availability. Bear in mind that 12 availability at short notice is still really tough. If you wanted a rating 6 area effect, that'd be 18 availability. That is really difficult to get hold of.
What about just doing like 2 level 3s?
Yeah, 2 level 3s would work. That's only availability 6. Or if you go for area effect, that's rating 9. Still tough.
Get 2 of the 3s with the directional, and then what we could do is we could just duct tape them all to my helmet or something.
You would need to constantly be looking at this, remember?
I just really like the calm.
Or take your helmet off and set it down, pointing at it.
I would say that to just stop someone just taping up a ton of directional jammers and then just be like, look, 1 jammer. Oh my god, I've got 20. You would have to use them from different angles or something, at least to vary them. But yeah, you could use 2 rating 3s.
I mean, technically, we could just attach it to an object that you sit down next to the tower that's just pointed up at it. Basically, like, we can just... Any object really will do that a security guy would have on him.
Something.
I mean, we were going to put it inside the walkie-talkie or whatever. That works, too, because that goes along with the story we're trying to tell here.
But you think it'd be okay with just 2 directionals? You should put them somewhere. I mean, Pug can obviously hold 1. And you're obviously going to have to be looking at the damn thing all the time. What about the 3rd one?
If I can knock off 6, I may give Blackson a call and see if this is something that he can run remote on and help with the jamming process. Generate just a little bit more noise to the point where the storm does the rest of the work for us. And then we could just take the gun from Mio and not have to worry about it. I mean, it would require me to call up. If you just want to get a rating 3 directional, just 1 rating 3 directional, that gets us up to 9. I'll call Black Sun, because we need somebody to run Overwatch on this anyways and make sure that they don't run our credentials or anything from off the boat. So if we get him to block outgoing and ingoing and spoof him or something like that, that would help too. It may be outside his range because he's going to be facing a lot of noise on this.
You would need to run a satellite link.
Can't we just fly him out too? Just have him stay on the craft, the VTOL.
You could ask.
We've never met this
Get
guy
rid
in
of
real
mine.
life.
Yeah, you might like him, Mr. Elf.
Maybe he has a sat link. This guy seems to be pretty Nova hot. I mean, then again, he did get fried by ice going against Seder Krupp, but it's Seder Krupp. I mean, you can only be so hot.
Could be expected.
Yeah, all right. Well, Pug's gonna definitely pick up the level 3 directional from Mio then.
Okay. Mio says that, I can get you 2. Raising 3 jammers pretty quick. Do you want to pick them up or get delivery?
We'll pick him up. What's the cost?
600 per jammer.
Okay,
I'll
send it
take
over. We'll go ahead.
I'll take that off of the 20k that we got up front.
Okay, so that'll be 600, 600, and your gun is coming off separate, and that's 2.1k.
Yep, all set. It's all sent. Where can we pick this up?
That will get it delivered immediately. And you just need to give them the address, because they don't actually have Blowback's address, luckily. And we now have another point of dice. The dice pool is getting... I think people expect you to die. Let's just be honest.
This could be the last run. This could go really wrong in a lot of ways.
Pseudo's gonna wake up and just be like, "Where is everybody?"
Okay.
In the meantime, I'm going to hit Black Sun.
Okay. By the way, Pug, do you give the address?
I don't know if we should be giving his address to the Yaks. He was probably better. What's that?
Give him a pickup point that you can meet him at.
Yeah, it's got to be a good pickup point. Do you know, like a good alleyway or something near your house there, near your apartment?
Yeah. London Knowledge, I assume, would make that. I live
Yeah,
here,
you find
so.
somewhere nearby. It's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
All right,
Good
give him
rolls
that.
there.
They can have the package there in under an hour.
Pug will be
Continue.
there. Thank you so much, Mio.
Okay.
Mucho apreciado.
You pinged the money over already, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, it's prepaid. Okay. So you hit up Black Sun.
Yep. So I sent a message over to Black Sun, giving him a rough idea. So this is a high-level run, dangerous shit against Seder Krupp, and we need somebody to run interference on their comms. We've got jammers set up to knock out at least a chunk of their communications, and then on top of that, there's going to be a nasty storm. But I still would feel better if we had a Decker running Overwatch for us to make sure things don't go in and out, and to make sure we've at least got some slight tech coverage.
Well, I mean, you could send a message and see what you can do for us.
Yeah, what can I do to make this happen?
You get back just plain text, as per usual. To the question about can you be on site with us? No. Get a satellite uplink, and I can help remotely.
Do you know anybody that could get us that?
I don't deal with physical produce.
Okay. All right, done deal. I'll get the satellite uplink. You on board?
Deal. Say the
Done.
crop, pay, and then it's just dot 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 as it's calculating. Say the crop, proper full hacking backup.
500 million.
You're looking at a good amount of cash for that. You get a message back.
But it's not our fault we don't have a pseudo. Be merciful.
Yeah. Although you're going in at short notice and you're getting paid a lot of money, so they will expect a reasonable pay.
So what are we talking here?
500 million.
Equal cut.
Equal cut. I asked the group
I understand
real quickly,
you're
assuming-
down a, quote, Decker. close quote. I get equal quote.
Black Sun wants equal. He wants cut in if he's going to do the run. He wants pseudo share.
That's pretty steep.
That's a lot of new yen.
It's your call. Guy's hot, and he'll make sure stuff doesn't happen. I mean,
A lot of new yen considering that he's not even going to be there.
well,
Yeah,
we've got
he's
a
not
satellite
risking. He's not risking himself. He's not there. That VTOL gets shot down, we're dead.
I'm beginning to suspect that Black Sun is not a person. I'm starting to put pieces here together, but we can talk about it later. But either way, so you guys say no?
No, I'm not paying him that much.
Well, what would you offer him, Mr. Face?
Or did I tell him to piss off?
Okay, maybe I shouldn't have asked Mr. Face. What would you offer him, Blowback?
I'd cut him in. I just don't want to die today. Any amount of money is not worth like going in a goddamn body bag tonight. I'm looking for extra layers of protection. I don't care what the profit is on this. I just want to go in quiet and make a good reputation.
I mean, I'd prefer just to stock up on the jams and try to take this thing out like that, as opposed to getting Black Sun in.
Shit, that's expensive though. That's really expensive.
I mean, we'd be better off, like, taking our time on this job, if it means that we don't need Black Sun, if you're wanting to pay that much, because that's ridiculous.
The storm factors into the plan, though. We got to make this seem desperate, like they're worried about the personnel on the ship or the guy himself. So the 3-day thing plays into the plan pretty well due to the storm, because that's going to be the catalyst for terror on the boat and why we need to get this guy off.
Yep.
If you haven't messaged Black Sun back and you've got an open text chat to them, you get enough message through saying equal share for rarefied skill set. We'll be able to provide you backup and on-the-fly hacking. Be able to possibly forge, question mark in brackets, your ID on the fly. Not perfect, but might help. ...
So guys, he's offering to do the forgery as well to give her Seder Krupp credentials when we land.
Strictly from a hacking point of view, it wouldn't be forging, it would be spoofing. They could scan you, and then you, Black Sun would go, okay, I spoof the results, and it gives a fake result back. Bear in mind that you'd have to spoof every time they checked, because you can't just forge something on the fly. You would literally be telling them, yeah, this is fine. It's like responding, this is fine, rather than just passively looking fine.
He's upped the ante. He's sweetened the pot by saying that he can make our credentials look better when they try to send it back to Seder Krupp.
If you want me helping with the job, I help with all the job, there and back. Or hire me for a particular task at a lower rate. However, going up against such a megacorp, I would be less inclined to do single tasks at low pay.
What do you guys think? We get some security badges that are low rating and he just spoofs it? I mean, does that make it sound better? I mean, I'm really a fan of not dying.
I'll go with it. I'll go with using Black Sun.
What do you think, Pug? I still want your opinion.
Pug isn't happy about spending that much cash on Black Sun, but yeah.
Think about it like this. If we had Pseudo here, we'd be splitting it 4 ways anyways. So right now we're letting like a trio of greed, which for Caper makes sense. Get in the way of... I mean, we're basically taking on the cost we would have already had if Pseudo had been here anyways. Rather than doing it short-handed, which is the suggestion from before then. That's just the way that I've mentally moved it around with my gymnastics. Like, we were going to pay that anyways if Pseudo was here.
No, it's not like that though. On the last job, Pseudo took bullets for us. That guy got filled with holes for us. Black Sun's not going to take a damn thing for us.
Okay, but alternatively, Pseudo still took his cut of the fight job too, and was not there for like half of it, which is why we needed Black Sun in the first place. So, if we're going to talk positives, we should also talk negatives.
Plus, I mean, we don't know what the fuck like Pseudo was thinking. It did break our guns. Black Sun ain't gonna break our guns.
I realize
I'm for
people
it,
aren't
I'm
happy
for it.
about
Just pay the guy. Pay the guy.
Okay. Is he paying?
Tell him
Benson?
yes before he goes away.
Okay, so I send back done. Looking
Okay.
forward to it.
Trust you to share profits fairly. Question mark?
I send back just word is bond.
Thumbs up emoji.
So,
Okay.
From now on,
we
for
need
the
a
next
sat
few
link.
days, I'll be at your beck and call. If you have something you want me to do, or any of the team want me to do, message me. And you all get an access port number. Also, you get a request for access to all of your devices. Effectively, user permission on your pans.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it.
We should give it to the rating 6s. We should run the rating 6s during this
Yep.
job. My guess is that they have a pretty good hacker on board, and that's why she was worried about our comlink security.
Quick question: did all those messages between Blowback and Black Sun, did everyone get to see that, or was it just
Not
Blowback?
unless Blowback shared them. If Blowback shared them, then yes.
Did
I figure-
Blowback share
I-
the messages?
I feel like I hit the main points. I mean, what do you want to see the messages for? It's kind of like for somebody asking you to like look at your
Well,
text
he
messages.
hasn't asked to see the messages. He's just wondering
Oh.
if he could see
Asking
them.
if he did.
No, you can't see them. If you want to ask, you can, though. Yes.
Yes, I'm gonna ask.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm slightly suspicious about it, but I'm like, yeah, sure, man. I was honest with you, but here you go.
Okay.
That's alright. I was just wanting to check the payment, exactly what he was wanting for payment, and that's fine. He said that he wants a share of the profits,
Not share of, yeah. Not
a share of what we get.
upfront. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to get the satellite link?
Yes, we need to lock that down. We can't do the job without a sat link.
You
so
can
we need
easily
to have
add that to stuff Mio's getting you, just to speed things up. It's fine. Mio can easily get that because it is
Cool.
Okay.
pretty similar.
How does
Right.
that work anyway?
500 million? Alright.
Yeah, satellite link is basically like a little umbrella, but reversed, and you just pop it up, and then you make sure it's pointing upwards at all times, vaguely in the direction of the satellite. Provided you have it pointed up and vaguely in the direction of the satellite, it will get you connection.
While you're looking that up, I sent a message to Black Sun, basically briefing him on the situation. The plan is we're going in on a T-Bird to extract a Satyr corrupt scientist under the pretense that this storm is a danger to the boat and he's a protected asset.
500.
Okay, so yeah, just add that on, and we'll go ahead and do it.
Okay.
I'm going to fill him in on the entire plan so that he knows what's going on, so that he can adapt to the situation and act in parallel with that instead of accidentally.
Accessing your files on the optical chip. Read them. Okay. By the way, those new comlinks are riddled with tracking software. Just thought you should know.
Yeah, we assumed as much. Do you think we should take them on the run, or should we use something smaller?
You were given them for the run. I will just prefer not to touch them.
Okay, that's fine. We'll keep them away from you. As far as that goes with Satyr Krupp, can you spoof the order that we're picking up this personnel?
I can. Every time they ask for it, I will need to spoof again, so try and be convincing.
Okay. Alright, we're gonna try it. Would ID badges help with any of this, or can you just work it on your end? Should we get sins that match up to our story?
ID badge would help, but I can probably make do.
Also, since I don't know anything about Satyr Krupp, I guess I'll just ask him. Do you have what Satyr Krupp security uniforms would look like? Or do you have access to that information?
We
He
just
pulls
Google
you
it.
out of the archive a picture of some of the personnel in the security uniform on the boat. Yeah, effectively it is a sort of red and sort of gold emblazoned black armored suit for the different security guards with sort of this basically it's armed vest top with a helmet. So you're looking at a about 14 armor rating. Not armored vest, sorry, armored jacket.
Okay. Caber. Alternatively, instead of dressing up like security, we could actually wear the fact that we're Shadowrunners on our sleeve. When we go on, we can say we're outside hires that were tasked with this extraction because we had a bird ready to go at the closest tarmac compared to Satyr Krupp, who did not. We could go with that instead, which would explain why we don't have credentials and all that kind of stuff, and then we could just have him spoof the order and spoof essentially the receipt to the Shadowrunners to make it seem more legit. I mean, that story seems all right to me, considering the remote nature of the boat.
Pug, you get a message. Be there in 5. Be at the sidewalk.
All right, Pug's gonna head out.
Okay.
You guys finish your hashing the deal.
We don't need to go in like full mil spec. We're just, if we're wanting to do the recovery team thing, we just need to go in like we would be recovering someone.
I think as long as our demeanor matches the job, as long as we're kind of urgent about it, you know, like go, 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 get the target, blah, 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 and we just make it seem like we're not there to answer questions, we're just there to get it done. And if Black Sun is running interference on that, on top of the fact that we just stay urgent the entire time, like this guy is going off the boat, file it with your superiors, whatever, we don't care, but our job is to get him out of here. As long as we stick to that line, might be all right. We can get the jumpsuits if you want, but...
Okay, so, Pug, as you're on the pavement, by the way, a bike goes past you at speed, slows down ever so slightly, just enough for the person in the back to throw off a backpack at you, which you catch. And lands at your feet.
Oh, goody. Backpack of goodies.
Yeah. It's a pretty big backpack, and you can just
make sure it's actually got some stuff in there.
Metal pole, and then you look inside. Yep, that's the barrel of an assault rifle.
All right. Head back up to the apartment. Nice.
Okay.
Can we do a quick matrix search to find out who it would be that would give an order to take someone off of a boat?
I would just leave that
anyone
with
in charge of their marine science division. So you could look at the executives in charge of that, or one of the head researchers. Anyone up there. You could, yeah, sure, but in fact, the file would have a reference to the person. That would be Matthew Thomas.
My suggestion would be that we let Black Sun handle that end of the plan. You have your fashion spell, right? If we get jumpsuits, would that work to make them look like the Satyr Krupp stuff?
I could make them look kinda like the Satyr Krupp stuff. Making them look exactly would be rough.
And this is one of those situations where if it looks kinda off, I feel like it would probably backfire on us.
I mean, I could, yeah. I could, given enough time, make it look like a Satyr Krupp outfit.
How are these orders delivered? Are they... who would I ask this? So, I'm gonna send Black Sun a message. I'd be like, is there a confirmation order or anything, or a confirmation number that Satyr Krupp would be looking for to verify an extraction team? Basically, I'm looking for a number that we can shout when we land. Outside hire, Romeo, Tango, blah, blah, blah. And just let them do their thing, so we sound legitimate, even though we're not dressed up.
References you part of the Satyr Krupp operating manual for the boat. It's actually in the file. It's very in depth in a lot of text that you probably haven't been able to get to yet. Which does say that stuff like, you know, being able to confirm something at sea, you'd be told via, you know, the comlink from land. And then, you know, you should question it normally, because stuff happening at sea is very rare, because you're meant to go out and then come back, rather than getting someone changed into the storm, especially. And they would be able to confirm it with a two-way link, and then land could also check any comlinks that come on board. So if you came on board, they could get the people back on land to run, you know, detection on your, you know, sins, etc., compare them back there where they've got, you know, better matching software. If they're cut off from land, there's not much provisions for that, and it basically is a try not to do anything, basically hold until you have time to be able to confirm something, unless you're in a danger of, you know, literal life and death. However, your plan will give you long enough to basically shit talk, if that's what you're aiming for.
Okay, so Caber, when we go on board, just over and over repeat, we are outside hires here to extract the guy. confirm with Seder Krupp whenever you need to, but right now he needs to be off this boat because this is actually, he is a protected asset and needs to go right now. And stick to that story. No matter what they ask, just be like, we don't have time for this. He needs to go now. And then we'll fabricate a number that they can confirm it with. And hopefully that'll be triggered when you say that or when they try and fire out for that confirmation number. That's when Black Sun will come through and spoof it and be like, yep, it's good to go.
Okay, so Black Sun sends you a message at this time saying, we'll need to spoof ID of T-Bird as we go in. We'll need to then spoof every single one of your IDs. If they question it, we'll need to spoof again. Bear in mind that each time I spoof, there is a chance of failure. The quicker you act, the better. I can keep holding off for a while. ...
What's the target's name?
The target's name is Scott Baker, PhD. He actually has a joint PhD, a PhD in marine thaumaturgy. So marine biology and thaumaturgy combined. Now, bear in mind, by the way, that since we are actually only on 3 players, and Black Sun's basically coming on as the 4th part of the team, any refreshed edge can be spent on Black Sun, and also team edge goes to Black Sun as well. So Black Sun can also use your dice pool.
And will.
Okay, so are you ready? Is there anything more you want? Because I'm keen to get this ball rolling.
Anybody got any questions about the run?
I think we just need to figure out what weapons we're going to bring and make sure we stick to the right story, make sure we're all standing in the right places, make sure all the directional jams are working, just make sure everything goes to a T. Like, what weapons do we even want to bring here, since we're just gonna spoof our way through this all?
I say, what weapons would we be expected to have, though? Yet? That's a very good shout. I mean, we can't...
Seder Krupp uses a number of different types of weapons. Often Seder Krupp doesn't manufacture their own weapons. They do get a lot of weapons in from people like Ares and so on as well. They do tend to use things like Ares Alphas. In fact, the 2 main armed security guards, who it has a lot of details on, will be equipped with Ares Alphas.
Perfect.
Well, we have 3 Ares Alphas, don't we?
And I've got a Nissan, so as soon as he gets back to the house anyways. Are we trying to get our guns to match up with our story? Because that's not relevant considering we're going in as outside hires. We don't have like an expected image that we're supposed to portray.
I suppose.
We are Shadowrunners hired by Seder Krupp to get this guy out because we have the nearest airfield.
If you want to get more armored jackets, which is what they're wearing, you can get a couple of those relatively easily. It depends if you can get hold of someone who can just quickly like emblazon like a logo in a little bit, or that'll be a couple of hits on a fashion spell.
Do we need that?
No.
Like, I know Chad is shouting out that we should dress up like security guys, but that goes against our entire story right now. We're outside Shadowrunners, hired to extract this guy because of our proximity to the ship at the time of the storm from our airfield in Norway or wherever it is.
You wouldn't necessarily need to spoof the T-Bird's ID as well.
Exactly. So I'm thinking the more we try to go in like Seder Krupp, the more points of failure we're adding. At this point, being Shadowrunners and being honest about it may actually be our best cover, since we can't fabricate the credentials and the outfits and the guns and all the other stuff
now,
we would need to be
thankfully,
Seder
there is a
Krupp.
small hole in your plan that Black Sun has spotted since you've just said it. If you're going in as Shadowrunners and you take the T-Bird towards their ship, they will immediately say, there is a T-Bird headed towards our ship. Call home. Home will go, there's not meant to be anything near you. At that range, your jammers won't work. Because that we're talking, you know, still like 2 kilometers out. Your jammer won't have an effect.
And he can't spoof that from there?
He could spoof, but he'd be hard-pressed to intercept a transmission between effectively an entire Seder Krupp relay. He would need to get on the ship itself, and he'd need to be within wireless range. Technically, you could do it wirelessly. He'd be at a massive noise penalty. Black Sun could try and spoof, basically intercept the communication, stop it going out, and then spoof a reply. It's 2 things. Black Sun could do it. It would be very tough.
On the way in, Black Sun tells them that we're with Seder Krupp and tries to keep them on the line long enough to land. By that point, we'll be on the boat.
The confirmation protocol does need them to both question the order again at land, so they would need to spoof a reply effectively.
So either way, we're spoofing.
Yeah, you'd have to do the 2 tests there. If you came from Seder Krupp, they'd probably let you get close enough to confirm that, and then they might do a call, at which point you could be in Jammer territory. I'm saying all this because this is what Black Sun's bringing up. I won't say in Black Sun talk because it's a lot slower because it's via text. So it's up to you. If you want to try and look Seder Krupp, it's up to you. If you don't want to, it's also up to you. But you're pushing a little bit hard on Black Sun's techniques there.
I think either way it presses on the plan. I mean, at this point, I think the Shadowrun, I think wearing who we are on our sleeves will work to our benefit better than trying to dress up like somebody we are not and just hoping they don't talk to anybody but Caber, and then hoping we can spoof all the stuff and hoping we can get all the outfits and all the costumes and that we don't have to make a disguise check or anything like that.
Okay. Black Sun then says, if you're going into Shadowrunners, might I recommend having a spare parachute? Just in case.
I don't know, man. I like the thought of going in as SK as opposed to going in as ourselves. I feel like if we go in as SK, we'll have a lot more trust to begin with than just being, oh man.
We still have the problem with the T-Bird, though, if we have the outfits, because the T-Bird is not what Seder Krupp would use here. Or if they did, it would have specific ID plates and everything on it.
Okay, well, if someone
No matter
wanted
what
to
we do.
specifically try and get some Seder Krupp armor, you could hit up your contacts. If anyone has a contact, they might be able to do that. Or if you've got a forger, you can forward the armor. Well, not a forger, it'd be a specialist armorer. If you want to do that, hit up your contacts. And I'm cutting the conversation a little bit off here, but...
We do have plenty of time for me to cast fashion on the armor. If we want to try and get...
Oh yeah, you
the
can just
armor
assume
to
that you
look
did
right.
it in the plane
You got
on
the
the
entire
way.
journey there, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys want to go with the outfits then? I mean, I'm fine with whatever.
And Larry
Oh,
can try and
Blowback,
get you
you're so
some fake
dejected.
licenses if you want them, or she can, Blowback can try and, Black Sun can spoof them. So as soon as you visually look-ish, okay. You going with that? Okay. Do you want more armor jackets?
I think I already have one. I think.
I don't know. I've got a nice set.
Yeah, Pug's got one.
Okay, one
No, I
armor
got
jacket.
armored
Mio can
clothing,
get that
never
for you pretty easily.
I need one too. I don't have one.
Okay, 2 armor jackets.
Armor jacket.
Clothing, armored jacket. 1,000. So that'll be 2,000 for 2. And Mio drops those off. Are you ready to go?
Do you want me to take this? Do you want me to take this off of the run cash, or do you want me to take it off of? Or do you just want to pay for it?
I assume you're going to keep them after the run.
Okay, so each person pays them. Right. You ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. So later that night, it's about 12:30. You're getting on towards 1. You trundle out towards, it's a very small airfield. It's almost just a field, just up above London. And there, sitting, is a fairly rusty-looking T-Bird. And out
I
front,
get no scratches on it. This thing is fucked.
out front, is a dwarf with a sort of fur hat and sort of aviator goggles on top. And he turns around and he goes, "Hey, Caver, I was wondering when you're going to show up. We're ready and fueled up and ready to go. Do you want to go now?"
No time like the present.
Hey, well, load up.
Alright, well, Pug's going to get the hell in.
Okay.
Find the nicest,
Yep.
most comfortable seat.
Are you bringing
I
your
just-
assault cannon?
No.
Okay.
Just before we go, we're taking the Ares Alphas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've got my my new Nissan
Yeah.
gun.
Well,
You're
did you
gonna
want
get
the
the-
Alpha? Because you were asking to borrow the Alpha earlier.
Yeah, that's because I didn't think we were going to be able to get the Nissan in time, but I got the Nissan now, so we're good.
Okay.
So you head inside, all wearing armored jackets. Are you all wearing helmets?
Yes.
Is that standard issue for Seder Krupp?
Yeah. If you wanted them along with the armor jackets, they're 200 apiece. They're relatively easy to get.
Yeah, just make it happen, I guess.
Yeah, okay, you've each got a helmet of 200 that needs it. Right. T-Bird takes off. This big sort of... It's basically, a T-Bird is named a T-Bird partly because it's a Thunderbird, also because it does look like a big T. The big, basically straight wings end in these big vertical engines that twist in flight to be able to point forwards, a bit like an osprey. The nose is very kind of short and stubby, and it takes off as you're kind of strapped into your seats, and suddenly there's this sudden reverberating sound. The entire airframe starts to shake a little bit. Your seats sort of move slightly. Pugs, one of the nuts is obviously loose on the base, and it starts moving like a good few inches back and forth. And the entire thing, with what you feel is just ridiculous amounts of force. You will feel very small and inconsequential as this thing takes off. This is designed for big smuggling runs, can carry, you know, good amount of cargo. We're probably talking, I don't know, several dozen tons easily. The entire thing just vertically takes off, tilts forwards and starts to fly. Okay, on the way there you're going to be stopping off a couple of places to get some fuel. Do you want to do those fashion spells, Kaber?
Yes.
Shoot.
Right.
So
going for...
Are we going to be spoofing our vehicle ID as we're coming in?
Didn't seem like we had much of a choice either way.
Yeah.
That's why our outfits right now are not going to match up with the T-Bird that we're flying into. That was one of the reasons why I was a fan of the Shadowrunner option.
Aye, well, you say that, but, you know, you don't pay me just to be a pretty face. And you see him fiddling around with some of the buttons on the console. Blowback, you would know because of your expertise in flying aerial vehicles that the console he's fiddling with looks like it's kind of bolted on after the fact. And it's kind of weird to be fiddling with an actual physical console. In fact, the number of physical controls in this are kind of disconcerting, as someone probably more used to flying by AR or by other methods. If you look outside, you can see the wing is now a slightly different color.
He's got a camouflage unit on this. We might be okay.
Aye, well, you know, if they catch us and I'm impersonating a Seder crop transport, well, we're all dead anyway, so hopefully the 12 grand will buy me a decent funeral.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
Also, you're worrying about spoofing. We're actually spoofing a Seder crop transport at the moment. I mean, if they interrogate too much, it will tell them that we're probably a few days out of date. By a few days, I mean technically this identity went down about 3 years in a med in an accident, but, you know, hopefully they won't inquire too far.
We've got backup too. We've got a Decker on it, so he's going to be backing up your story.
Decker. He looks around, a little bit confused.
Satlink, amigo. He's with us in spirit.
Oh yeah, who's got the Satlink?
I'll keep it on me, it's fine.
Someone needs to cradle that shit like a baby.
Yeah.
Black Sun messages you. We'll need an unobstructed view of the sky to work. Bear in mind that I will lose you until you can do this. And then he points out on your AR the location of several satellites in the sky. And these will track, because it's now been programmed in, as you move. So provided you point at one of these satellites, you can point it out a window will work. You can't point it through the steel airframe of an aircraft. But you will have to keep it pointed at a satellite. Not directly, roughly will do. But while you're in the T-Bird and you want to get signal, as you leave the area covered by general wireless signals, you'll need to point it out the window. Not opening the window, just literally point it right next to the window, but that'll work.
What's the pilot's name?
Hey, it's Ryan.
Ryan.
What's your name?
Okay,
I haven't
Ryan.
actually asked.
Blowback, amigo. Good to meet you.
Hey, Blowback. Good to meet you.
So I've got this Satlink right here. I'm going to be pointing it at a satellite until we land. Once we land, I'm going to hand it off to you and point it at a satellite, and I forward him my AR to his whatever he's got going on.
I'll be completely honest, when we land, I'm probably going to have to stay behind the controls because I have no idea what's going to be happening. I mean, you could consider just putting it down on deck and pointing it somewhere.
That won't require... We'll have to realign, though, like every 30 minutes, won't we?
I mean,
Due to
every 30
positioning?
minutes, if it lasts longer than 30 minutes, as I understand what you're trying to do, you probably will be dead.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try and come up with something that'll point it at a satellite while we're off the boat.
Okay. One piece of armor is done.
Nice.
Your armor now has a little logo, a little dragon head crest in sort of this golden red. Well done.
Steedo is currently rolling a lot of fashion spells and a lot of brain resists.
Yep. Unfortunately, Castilla is not a particularly powerful mage. Caber is going to have to keep going backwards and forwards. Luckily, Caber's pretty good at resisting drain. Is that another one, or is that
I've
drain?
got 4 points. No, all I need is 2 successes on the drain. I've got 4
Okay.
points of stun damage so far, guys.
Wow. Do you want to use some dice, Paul? You've got
Not yet.
5. Oh, wait, are we on 6 now? We're
That
on
was
6. Thank you very much.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
I believe the next one is Edge. Off the top of my head. It's Edge, Edge. Edge at 200, Edge at 250, Team Edge at 300. Yeah. And then Favor at 5. Okay. So you stop off a couple of other times. Black Sun messages you telling you you're going out of range just to move the satellite to a different window. You do.
Yep.
Suddenly you Black Sun back again. It's a bit of a journey. Pug gets a little bit of a nap in. Plays a bit of the fighting game.
Oh, hell yeah.
I got a medkit with me. Can I offset some of his stun damage that way?
That's too dumb.
By doing what?
With the medkit, can I offset some of his drain damage?
Don't think you can do that to magically created stun damage, I'm afraid. It's like a rule to prevent people going, I fix this with magic. Now I fix this with magic. Yeah, you can't do that to drain. Okay, so all of you now have emblazoned this little Say the Corrupt logo. Bear in mind that Ryan does not have that. Just make sure Ryan doesn't get seen. Okay, so you get up there and you notice it's becoming definitely more choppy. The air is definitely full of very dark cloud ahead. The ocean below is sort of undulating. The rain is pelting off the front and back. You're actually getting a little bit of trouble getting through to Black Sun occasionally. Because the angle of the satellite is not a perfect satellite. Proverbially, you pick one above you, much shorter distance to go through the atmosphere. But now you're pointing, through a lot of atmosphere. Normally fine, but now the additional rain coming down, it's a little bit in and out. Black Sun's still going by text though, so the connection's mostly fine. But Black Sun
What's
does
the armor
tell you
rating
that
on an
it's,
armor jacket?
12.
Oh, that's not too bad. Okay.
Yeah, armor jacket is.
I was worried my
like,
ass was hanging out.
It's better than what I normally run in, so...
Yeah, no, armor
Okay.
jacket's like the highest thing in the core rulebook. And so I will need to start doing some things. Right.